There he is,
What's happening?
the man, the legend, Edwin McCain. Look at you. Where are you coming to us from, Edwin?
Greenville, South
Greenville.
Carolina. Yeah,
How
I'm
about
home.
man, the Palmetto State, such a great state, and I feel like people caught on, people.
Where are you?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Wishing I was in the Palmetto State, quite frankly. But yeah, Edwin still looking as cool as ever. Shorter hair than in the '90s. We do gotta say that, you know. But
Yeah, I'm trying to think of why I cut my hair. The first time was I think I did it 3 times for the locks of love thing.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
that's right.
your hair, and then every time I cut it, I was like, man, this is way easier.
Because we gotta. I mean, Edwin, your music is amazing, but when we looked at your hair in the early '90s, I mean, that's like Head and Shoulders commercials.
Yeah, and I had some hair, but it was. I'll tell you what, I was really not very good about taking care of it, so I'd always end up with knots in it, and uh and invariably I'd start dating a girl, and they'd just be like, "Dude, you have knots in the back of your hair," and I'd be like, "Oh yeah," and I realized very quickly, I was like, "Man, this is going to require a lot more maintenance than I'm willing to participate in."
It's always the girls. It's always the girls, Edwin. But yeah, I mean, Edwin. I mean, obviously, Lucky out now. What an album! First one in 15 years. But Edwin, the fact that you have all these great new songs, has that in a way made you go out there and have kind of like that hunger to prove yourself again on stage? Because we weren't here at the Ryman. We weren't in town, but everyone was raving about the way you attack that stage and the way you're attacking audiences. You know what I mean? Has it kind of reinvigorated that hunger?
No, it's interesting because like during this little 15-year hiatus, I was kind of I I was basically back to my indie roots. Like, so I was back to just being independent me, and I was playing my little rooms, my little 500 seat rooms that I love to play, um and so I've I've always been playing. I just and what I realized too is is I want to say this as gently as I can. There's a big difference between being independent and being considered in the mainstream, because ever since I signed with a real management company, and I'm on a label again, and sort of back in the conversation, everybody's like, it's like I came out of hiding. It's like I came out of the witness protection program, because I wasn't really promoting myself, and I wasn't doing any interviews, and I was just out there playing my gigs and sort of
Oh yeah.
living my life. But to the general public at large, I was in the witness protection program. I was gone. And so, part of the thing when we played with Sticks at the Ryman, first of all, the Ryman it elevates you to begin with because of how special a place it is. But then also playing with Sticks, like those guys are unbelievably great musicians. And so as longtime journeyman musicians ourselves, we wanted to be able to stand on that stage and be considered in the same conversation, which means, we want to be as good as we can possibly be, um, to show their audience that Sticks made the right choice by having us. You don't want to go out there and blow it. So I think for us, um, the real touching moment from that night was about halfway through our show. We got a standing ovation from their crowd, which that means a lot, because the Sticks crowd is no joke, man. They understand music. They understand the intricacies of those arrangements that they play, and they've been part of it for 50 years. So
Yeah.
I really love playing with them. It's an honor every time.
Yeah. But you're right. You have been rocking audiences. I remember probably around 2019, an old programming director at a radio station I worked with who like did a little bit of real estate. He called me from Orlando and he's like, dude, I was at a real estate conference here in Orlando and Edwin McCain just put 3,000 realtors to tears.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so you have been rocking and rolling, for sure, man.
I'm it's interesting to me too, because I play a lot of private events, and I play a lot of like non-traditional things, and but I never, to me, there's always an opportunity to make a real emotional connection with music. And especially in a setting like that, I remember that gig. I was like, man, I'm going to make them cry today. And, and I like it because I don't think people are ready for it. And I think one of the things that's important about music is that we keep challenging our audiences to be open and emotional and empathetic and kind towards each other, because that's what we're doing, right? That's the idea of this moment where you've got somebody on a stage, is so that we can all share a common emotion and realize that we're way more the same than we are different. And that's always been the goal anyway.
Amen to that, Edwin. Edwin, but as a songwriter, as a performer, you're getting your juices out there. But as a songwriter, 15 years between albums, I mean, was that hard? And what I mean is, was there any competitiveness in there? Any, something inside of you that said, man, I'm sitting on these wonderful songs. I know if I release them, they'll crush. Like any, just like that competition part of it.
No, I and only because I know how astronomical the alchemy has to be for songs to hit. And I wish I could tell you that it was just a matter of 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 grinding and being competitive, because that's part of it. But the other part of it is the timing has to be perfect, and the team that you have around you has to be good. And so and during that 15 years, it's interesting. Everybody was like, so were you writing? Were you not writing? Yeah, I was writing a lot. And a lot of the songs that I wrote, I just wrote for people that I know and love.
Sure.
They would, and I would send them to them, and that was it. So not every song has to be for public consumption, or has to tow a monetary cart. Songs are like letters, and sometimes they're private letters that you write to people that you love. And I think that we lose that part of it sometimes. And that's one of the things I think, even people that write songs as a hobby, or play as a hobby, it doesn't make what they're doing any less valid. And I always try to encourage songwriters that just do that, as a creative outlet. Like, your songs are no more or less important, because songs that you write, and especially that you share with your friends and family, like, deepen your relationship with them. And what's that worth? You rich, it makes your life richer, with the people that you love. And isn't that the point? So during that time, I was writing plenty of songs, but they probably wouldn't make a lot of sense to everybody. But when it came to this record, I wasn't really too precious about it all having to be my songs either, because there were some songs that I knew I wanted to cut, and I've known I've wanted to cut for a long time, right? Like, Philip Lammons has a song called Salt that I put on this record, and I've loved that song for a decade. So, it's really just about putting together the right collection of songs to make the album I think represents where I'm at.
Yeah. And the album is tremendous, Edwin. By the way, it was worth the wait. Like, there's no filler. Every song is fantastic. I mean, front to back, we've heard it like 11 times. It's wonderful. Um, but Edwin, let me, like, for my audience that now maybe realize this guy is really cool. You have other interests as well. Like, obviously you have that flipping ship show on Animal Planet, which is fantastic. Um, the restoration business. But I wanna touch on your TikTok, like the way you're kind of like blowing up on TikTok with your daughter and stuff. It seems like you're enjoying this, right?
Yeah, so I like a like a lot of Gen Xers, I just refused to participate in social media. I was like, that's not for me. I don't know why everybody likes that. And so I never really participated in social media in any way until the pandemic. And then we were stuck in the house, and I ended up a friend of mine named Mike Carrata is like, dude, you need to get on TikTok, man. You'd really be good at that. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I got on TikTok, and what I discovered was it was like a complete reversal of what the music industry was like in the 90s, because back then they wanted to build these images and these to build this mystery, and and now the premium is placed on you just being your authentic self. And I was like, oh man, I'm here for this. Like like I don't have to wear the clothes, or I don't have to pretend to be something that I'm not. And then the other thing that I really loved about it right out of the gate was I was able to, you're able to hear all these different perspectives from people that you probably would never have met in your real life. Like one of the creators I follow is a guy named Cody Green, and he deals with schizophrenia, and he's really open and honest about his experience. And I was like, how amazing is that? Like, you would never really ever have been able to know what it's
Yeah.
like to be him if you weren't on this app. And then obviously it dovetails from there. And I know there's a lot of arguing back and forth and a bunch of negativity, but I skip all that. But there are a lot of really authentically kind and true people on there. And it's just it's a fascinating way to know more about people. And then me goofing off with my daughter, that those interactions are literally
Real life.
happen. Like, I can tell when she's a little salty, and I just know when to pull the phone up and ask a question that I know is going to get me a good response. And that's just, those are happening in real time. It's not like we script them out or anything. It's like literally, or she'll say something and I'll go, wait a second, and I'll pull out my phone and go, what did you just say to me? And then and it it serves, in my mind, is so fun because, like, it's just like a scrapbook of all these little moments that I probably would have forgotten if I wasn't documenting them. And she makes me laugh so hard every day. Like, every time I think I've heard everything she's gonna say, or she finds some new angle and makes me laugh. And it's
So yeah,
yeah, it's great.
you're a wonderful follow, man. Thank you. Well, thank you for your time, Edwin. I know you want to get on with your weekend, but let me leave you with this. Let me, I gotta ask an Albie question, of course. I mean, by the way, that song I think is gonna go in like Library of Congress. You know what I mean? That song. But you gotta tell me a couple examples, Edwin, where you're like in Walgreens and you're just getting a shampoo or something, man, and you just like hear your song and you're like, there we go again. Do you have any like recurrences like that of just hearing the one?
No, if you if you go to Home Depot or Publix or CVS or Walgreens, and you're in there for longer than 10 minutes, you're going to hear it. It's fantastic. But I think my favorite place is, and for years, it was every time I was in the Las Vegas airport, every single time I was in the Las Vegas airport, and I was thinking, I wonder how many people like landed here to go get married and heard this song in the airport, and they're like, oh, let's use that at the little wedding chapel. Like, it's hard to even fathom the number of people. And that song is such a miracle. I loved it when I wrote it, but I had no clue it was going to be a 30-year juggernaut like it
Yeah.
is.
It's a beautiful thing, and it's a song that, quite frankly, like one doesn't get tired of it. It's just a beautiful thing, like a beautiful flower. I don't know, you know.
So lucky.
Love it, love it, Edwin. Well, thank you for your time. People can catch you on the road a lot this year. We're excited to see you at CMA Fest right across the street. We'll see you, but people can see you rocking out with Train all over the country. Lucky, your first new album in 15 years, one of your best, if not your best album. Thank you, Edwin, for your time.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
You're gonna
Thank you for tuning in. Click here to subscribe and get the latest from the show, including exclusive behind-the-scenes footage and once-in-a-lifetime performances. And as always, thank you for making J-Rock Concerts Media part of your day.